Hello, this is Angelia, and I'm here with today's wisdom. Today's wisdom comes from Daily Ohm. The understanding underneath experiences with multiple meanings. Excuse me. Though we humans are self aware, we nonetheless cannot distance ourselves from the world around us and have a natural tendency to ascribe meaning to all that we experience. And there are some people who are like that, and they're very superstitious people who, go by the old wives' tales and things like that, and, they think these things are, you know, uh, true and that, they mean something. The significance we perceive in our experiences is rooted in our observation of patterns as they relate to ourselves. Now, there are patterns that, come across in our lives. And some people believe that if you keep seeing a pattern, then that's something that you need to pay attention to. So, one situation has the power to teach us about life because it exposes us to something unfamiliar. And, like I said the other day, a lot of people don't like change. So when something unfamiliar comes into your little 3 feet of space, you might not be comfortable with that. Another touches our emotions deeply by enabling us to see how fortunate we are. And I know I've had, experiences like that where, something happens to somebody. I'm like, man, I am well blessed, thank you, Lord, because, but for the grace of God, there I would be. Yet our initial impressions of an experience may not wholly reveal the true significance of that occurrence because our full response to an experience is like an onion with many layers that all have disparate meanings. So, everything happens for a reason, they say. But it's up to you to figure out what that meaning is. Excuse me. Consider that a sunrise may stun us visually while simultaneously evoking memories of childhood and reminding us that each new day is a rebirth. If you take the time to examine your experiences closely, you will discover that your original impressions may only be a part of a larger story of significance. Because, a lot of times, like when we're young and we hear something or find out something or see something, it means like one thing to us. And then as we get older, we'll, see or hear something again and say, oh, well, now I understand this means that. When I was a kid, I thought it meant that. But, things, our perspective changes as we change. My goodness. Peeling away the layers of an event or incident can be a fun and interesting process if you allow it to be. And that's the problem. A lot of people, they don't want to examine their experiences. They just want to keep going, keep moving. Don't want to think about it, don't want to examine it. To begin, relive your experience in your mind's eye and from multiple perspectives if possible. Your interpretation of any situation is based not only on facts, but also on feelings, beliefs, and your values. Because your, feelings and values and belief system colors how you see things. A lot of people don't want to believe that about themselves, but it's true. As you ruminate upon your experience, spend a few moments contemplating how you felt when it began and how your feelings had changed by its end. And that's something, oh my gosh, that they teach it in therapy, and it can be helpful. Ask yourself what abstractions, if any, it awakened in your mind. And, some people consider an abstraction like a half-formed thought or a belief or something. And then this thing happens, and that solidifies it into an opinion. So, sometimes an experience can color our opinions on things. It may be that in striving to answer them, a new layer of meaning may reveal itself to you. If an experience stirs up questions within your soul. So, if something happened and then it has you doing some soul searching, that usually is a good thing. And it means it impacted you pretty seriously. The significance, oh dear, don't have stroke, of an experience may remain hidden to you for some time. And that's true. A lot of times something will happen to us and we'll move on and we won't realize that it affected us in a certain way. But as we get older, we look back and see, oh, well, you know what? This is why I developed this habit, or this is why, I feel like this, because this made me, feel that way. The meaning of an event can change when viewed from another context, may only become apparent after intense meditation. So, like I say, stuff from your childhood, as you become an older adult, you can look back on and say, well, that's why, I did this or like this or whatever. And then sometimes, this is why a lot of people do meditate, because they know they need that peace in their life, because their life wasn't so peaceful. An incident that seemed superficial may unexpectedly touch us deeply later in our lives. And I'm sure we've all had that, something that didn't seem like that was a big deal to us, but then later on, as we're doing, some self-improvement, healing, some soul searching, we look back and say, well, you know what, that did have an impact on me, because, like, if it was something somebody said, you're like, yeah, I thought maybe that's what people thought about me, so I felt bad about that, and it just, sometimes later on we can notice stuff we didn't notice back then. As they say, hindsight is 20/20. If you take a truly open-minded approach to your examination of each new level and do not shy away from revelations that could prove painful, you will learn much about your relationship to the world around you. A lot of times, like I say, that's people don't want to get in. They don't want to delve because it might be painful for them, and they don't want to feel any more pain. So they don't ever do their homework. They don't ever do their, take out their internal garbage so that it doesn't sit there fester in them. They'd rather just live in ignorance and keep moving than to dig in the dirt, as Peter Gabriel said. And the refined impression you glean from your experiences after contemplating their significance can add a new richness and texture to your life. And I can tell you that it does. So, if you want to figure out the understanding underneath things, there are experiences that can have more than one meaning. And they can mean more than one thing to you at any given time in your life. So, Squire Rushmore talked about God winks, where, God gives you a little wink saying, I'm here, I'm listening, this is what you need to be doing or not doing, So think about it. Please like and share this wisdom so we can spread it around the world. If you want to help me out, subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want to help me out even more, go to my Patreon page and become a patron. That's all for now. Until next time.